What's the best way to meet people as an adult? Hobbies. Specifically, ones that get you out of the house. It gives you an easy thing to talk about before things get personal. Most people love talking about their hobbies with other people that also do them. Since graduating college, I seriously think almost every friend I have made has been through my hobbies. I'm big into Warhammer, and it's always fun to just hit the local hobby store and see what's happening. Getting into tabletop games has opened up my friend base significantly in my 30s. I think a lot of people are scared to get into it because they think it's just going to be all antisocial awkward people, but almost everyone I play with has a plethora of other hobbies and are just normal people looking to have fun. Check sites like Meetup or get a weekly session going yourself and have your friends invite their friends too. Do you need to know how to play the games before you try to join people? Probably only the most hardcore ones that take many hours or days to complete. Most games can be learned in 5 to 15 minutes on YouTube prior, so maybe brush up on the games you plan on playing. Not usually. There are so many modern board games that it's impossible to know how to play them all. And considering that most people bring several games apiece to game nights, there's always going to be something that some people don't know how to play. Almost every game night I go to, each game starts with an explanation of the rules. If you know what you're playing beforehand and want to know what you're doing going in, there are plenty of great YouTube channels dedicated to teaching rules of games as well, like Watch It Played and the Dice Tower. Yes, though even more so a hobby where the hobby can be part of socializing. I get the CrossFit/exercise thing, though you still have to take the friendship beyond the CrossFit gym. Wine greenery is my hobby of choice, and it's great since the way to enjoy it is literally by eating and drinking together. Yay, stuff like that is great too. I'm a coffee dork. There's a cafe/roaster in my city that does cupping once a week, which is basically like wine tasting for coffee. It's a great way to meet new people. What kind of convos do you have? Not the op, but I always wondered how people even through hobbies meet. The only people I talk to at cafes are the baristas lol. I ride bikes a lot. Sometimes I'll ride bikes to cafes and see other people with bikes I recognize or can just tell are nice and say something like, "Hey, I like your bike. How's X component working out for you?" or something along those lines, and the conversation just goes from there. I'll add that most every city nowadays has small organized sport leagues like darts, flag football or soccer or softball. I played in a couple leagues like that in my early 20s through my 30s and still am either friendly or close with a great number of the people I met through them. Plus gets you out of the house at least one day a week and gives you something to look forward to during the week. This, if you can, it's good to find something you can do relatively consistently. You can make some of those new relationships last. Don't hesitate to act. On a whim I went on a Friday to my local game shop downtown. Ended up being there every Friday after 4 years. Got a place to play games, a job eventually, and a group of friends and coworkers that became like family. When I talk about them to other friends groups I even refer to them as such. My store name's family. Agreed. My wife and I moved from Michigan to Massachusetts literally the day after our wedding. We didn't know anybody in the state. About 5 months later we wandered into a game store and saw some RPGs listed on their calendar. I came back that Saturday and joined a gaming group that I've now been playing with for almost 20 years. A particularly fun one is motorcycles. Somehow throwing a leg over a bike made me instant friends with a vast array of humanity. Can't recommend enough. Same thing with cycling, road, mountain, or whatever. I mountain bike a lot and have made a bunch of friends out at the trails. Seriously knew people for like 30 minutes, did a few trails together, then it's hey let's go get some beers. Rode my electric scooter regularly and bonded with 4 new friends permanently. Strangely they had the same names too. They were called titanium plates. I'm told that I'm doing this wrong, but some of my close friends are from work. Like we hang out outside of work as well, more than I hang out with my friends from personal life. There's nothing wrong with that. Lots of people have close friends from work. It just doesn't always work out that way for everyone. Sometimes it's a matter of exposure. If your job can be high stress or at least high pressure, it may not be good to spend a ton of time around your co-workers so that you don't get on each other's nerves. But it can be all kinds of other things like age gaps, different interests, politics, etc. I actually really like my co-workers, but we don't hang out outside the office because many of them are a little older and married with kids. Whereas I'm a 30-year-old single dude. We generally have very different plans when it comes to our free time lol. But we get along great at work and are still friends. We just don't spend time together outside of work. It's such a mixed bag depending on where you work. If you're working somewhere that everyone is in it together so to speak, then it's easy to have work friends that you do stuff with after/outside of work. I think a lot of people simply haven't had that experience if they look down on having work friends. Although I've been on the other side of it too. I was an engineer on a team with a bunch of other like-minded people, and I moved to another team that did something completely different. That new team didn't do much socializing even amongst themselves as a team, much less after work and whatnot, so I felt like I was totally alone. I'm still friends with most of those old teammates almost a decade later, so man. Join a CrossFit gym and consistently hit one class time, preferably where you're able to chat a bit after. Pretty straightforward and most CrossFit people are geeked to talk about CrossFit. That's an instant in. Find an activity that you enjoy and join a group. Hiking club, volunteer organizations, something that positive and stable people would be involved in. If you are seeking more of a relationship, the people you are with will know someone you might find to be a good match. Yes, and further along these lines, I'd say in addition to joining clubs that align with your hobbies, taking classes for things you might think fun are good too, like take a cooking class, or try a beginner's tennis class. While improving yourself you also meet people. Great combo. A lot of cities have really welcoming rec league/pickup scenes for almost any sport you can play. Great way to find a group outside of work when headed to a new place for a job. I joined a volunteer organization a few years ago for disadvantaged children. Amazing experience and had at least 50 new friends along with some warm and fuzzies. Doesn't matter if you are an introvert, there is always a way you can help. Also with a volunteer organization most people are there for the right reason and therefore less assholes. I see everyone saying meet up, activities that interests you, etc. That's all good, but unless you are willing to put yourself out there in conversation you might have a hard time. I love live music, but I go and enjoy the music and really don't make connections. So you need to be open. I've met most of my friends post high school through live music, but mostly local music. It's hard to talk to people at concerts, though. It's loud, it's dark, people are there for a specific thing, so I feel yeah, that's my main interest so it's tricky. I have a friend involved in a local music scene, where organizers have started doing pre-show meetups, so people can hang out and talk before the show. It's pretty cool, definitely something I wish was more common. Everyone is going to tell you to find hobbies, go join some clubs etc. If it was that easy, we'd all have huge groups of friends and this wouldn't even be a question. As someone who has trouble meeting new people and developing relationships, especially since I've moved so often in my life due to situations out of my control, I have found that complimenting people can go a long way. Society can be very harsh, and we as people tend to allow our emotions and insecurities drive us. If you see someone wearing a shirt for a band or movie etc. that you really enjoy, it will be no problem doing the hardest part, which is beginning and continuing conversation. From there you can go into other topics about some local places you enjoy, and before you know it, you'll have a new friend to go to events and bars with. We're all looking for some form of companionship in life. Some are just easier to admit and accept it. Solid answer. I've also found that laughing often at others' jokes is an effective way to be likable. If you have a dog, take him to a social group for dogs. That way you can make friends with other doggy people and your dog makes friends too. My problem with that is one half the people are on their phones not even watching their dogs. It's fine, I get it. If your dog is fine you don't need to baby your dog. And the other one half want to talk about Caesar and how I'm handling my dog all wrong and oh, it's a crossbreed. Caesar says that's bad, and I agree, really muds up the bloodlines. Yeah, because incest has always been a good thing. Oh hell, that damn dog whisperer. The people that talk about him are the people who absolutely do not realize that it's just a matter of spending time with and training / socializing their pets. Adult Sports League. I met my wife at adult kickball. Everyone would hit the bar afterwards and ice was already broken. Super easy to talk to anyone and be yourselves. Was waiting for this. My over 30 soccer team is named for the bar we go to afterwards. Most people are gonna say follow your passion and do you, and people will come. But it hasn't worked out so far for me. Yeah, that's BS. At least for introverts. I used to believe that nonsense too. But making friends takes effort, like anything else. They don't just appear all of a sudden like in a movie. You have to actively seek out and build relationships. Anything that's worth doing takes time and effort. Especially as an introvert, if you're not willing to put those onto a goal, then I'd say you don't really want the stated outcome. I always saw making friends as a direct investment of my time and energy. To me it was well worth it. On the other hand, my dad has no real friends and seems perfectly fine. Without judgment, it's just about finding the balance that works for you. For what it's worth, I, introvert, met a group of friends I consider a second family, the majority of whom are also introverts, when I got into performance driving. On the track, alone in your vehicle, using hand gestures to give passes or take passes. Off the track, we talk about what happened on the track. While alcohol is involved during the weekly happy hours I typically set up, none of us needed to feel comfortable around each other. That comes from the trust you build with everyone safely navigating around each other doing 130 miles per hour plus. Climbing gyms. It's a lot more easygoing and laid back than a regular gym environment, and in many situations you need a partner for belaying or spotting for outdoor bouldering. It can be a little weird to break the ice sometimes, and I'd be lying if I said that everyone is friendly and outgoing. Most people are still in the zone of whatever routine they are in. Some good climbers are downright arrogant or cliquey, but chances are, if you put yourself out there and take the first step to say hello or ask what the person is working on, you're likely going to make a new friend. It's like any conversation with a stranger. No one wants to be the first person to put themselves out there, but doing so will almost always garner respect. Met my husband this way. It's not super easy for friendships always though. Am female. Can confirm people can be competitive and or judgy, even if you are a casual climber. This is just like any other gym though. No matter what activity is going to get shared here, awkward people and introverts need to accept you're going to feel awkward or uncomfortable doing any of this. The bright side is that, if you do it enough it gets less awkward and you get better at making friends. Prepare to be vulnerable, prepare to feel uncomfortable, then prepare to feel really good once you figure it out for yourself. I've had good success telling myself I just have to fake it 5 minutes at a time. Then go grab a soda or whatever and you can't talk while you're sipping that. Then build yourself up for the next 5 minutes. It's gonna suck until it doesn't, but if you don't get through the sucky part, you're just lonely. Meetup.com or something like that, you can find your hobby there, and there's probably a club near you that you can join. I second Meetup.com. Even if you aren't in a major city, there is probably something happening near you. I joined it in a club for my town, a history club, and a general activities club. A lot of the members overlap. It's been great. Meetup.com is an absolutely fantastic site if you are new to an area. Not only is it a great way to find stuff to do that interests you, nearly everyone within the meetup group will have things in common with you, making it much easier to bond than simply talking with random strangers at a bar. My sister moved to Kansas City a couple years ago and used this site quite a bit to find people. Now she has a decently sized friends group that hangs out all the time. I tried it once. It was all people that, just being honest, I'd expect to meet at bingo night at the local Y or something. Nothing against those people, but it's just not my scene. Have you had better luck? I'm genuinely lonely interested. The meetup scenes in Bucharest, Romania, and Amsterdam are really great and diverse. I went to a bunch of different fun things. I looked for meetups in Zurich where I was considering moving, and it was all startups / making money / hooking up, and one soul board James group. It totally depends on where you are. It depends on the group you join. If it's a genetic let's hang out around town one, or one for a certain age group, you might not have as good of luck finding people to connect with. Try groups with a more focused interest, maybe, like hiking, or a book club, or anything else that's centered around a specific activity that you like. Go to a community center or the equivalent in your area and join a group activity for something you enjoy doing. I met some of my good friends and even my wife signing up for a softball league on a whim that I saw posted. Volunteer for something you believe in. Guaranteed people with similar values around. Automatic conversation starter, and worst case scenario is to make the world a little bit better. Volunteering is how I met my fiance. Same for me. Friends of friends has netted us a lot of new people. Go to group gatherings and meet people. If your good friends find them worth their time, they are probably worth putting in your social circle too. Have children. Then your kids play with their kids and you meet. Or a dog. People come up to you so often to pet them, and then you meet the people. Dog park is so easy for interaction. Take a DNA test for you dog. If you have a mutt like me, people ask what kind of dog you have, tell them about what he has DNA wise. They say something like, oh wow, I never would guess he has X. Meet their dog. Talk about how cute or well behaved this is. Your dog runs off. You follow. Say okay, nice meeting you. Then just pick up conversation next time you see them there. Charity events can be a lot of fun. I started doing pro bono photography for one group and met a new friend there. Plus, the events can be fun. I was on a riverboat cruise last month for free because I took pictures for them. Go to a music festival. I went to Bonnaroo last weekend with 3 friends. Came back with 10 friends. I had the same experience there. Personally, I'm an extrovert, so I don't have a problem talking to random people at a concert. But for someone that has trouble making friends already, it's not the best environment to random people. Also not likely as they're having trouble meeting people. Volunteering at local soup kitchens, dog shelters, etc. You meet high quality people with hearts of gold. Can't say which is the best for you, but here are some that might work. 1. Hobbies. Most of them can be made into social activities, it's just a matter of finding a group that meets within reasonable traveling distance. 2. Political/activist groups. This is good for putting you in touch with like-minded people and getting involved in issues you care about. 3. Faith-based communities, i.e., church, mosque, synagogue, etc., can be a good starting point if you are religious. 4. Volunteering. Find like a dog shelter or soup kitchen or something and go help them out. How did you meet your new friend as an adult? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more Reddit videos.